the Bells is another guy I've lost touch with for a lot of years. And he was on our show probably 50 fucking times at least.
He did a lot of appearances, yes.
Yeah, he was great. He'd come on. He was a very well-read guy, and he was a comedian. So he would just rip on the news and offer conspiracy theories. I was most proud of the fact the Bells would come on and riff. And by riff, I mean we'd talk about different subjects, or Robin would read the news, and the Bells would comment on the news.
Yeah, I loved when he sat in on the news because he was so well-read.
He was so well-read, and he had definite opinions, and that's good radio. But one time he was on the show, and the famous TV movie guy, Barry Levinson, was listening to our show. He heard the Bells. He says, that's the guy who should play Detective Munch on TV. Here you go. The Bells was best known for playing Detective John Munch for 22 consecutive seasons. Oh, my God, that job just kept on going. It was a record at the time. The character started on Homicide, Life on the Street in 1993, then moved over to Law & Order SVU in 1999. My favorite memory of the Bells, and it's such a stupid memory, and I don't know why I love this so much, but it happened off the air. Gilbert was ill. I've told that story a million times. I had to go see Gilbert in the hospital. So on the same one of the days I'm there at Gilbert's hospital bedside, Bells comes walking in. And, you know, Bells was kind of like this, yeah. He's like, yeah, right, yeah, right. Yeah, right. Like, that was his personality, you know? It's the best way to put it. Bells walks in, looks at Gilbert, and I'm thinking, oh, my God, this is weird. Bells is about to be emotional with Gilbert. He goes, how you feeling? Gilbert's like, oh, you know, and he goes, okay. Bells sits down in a chair next to Gilbert, like one of those plastic hospital chairs.
Right.
And opens up the newspaper. I think it was the Washington Post. And he buries himself in the paper, and he starts reading the paper. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
He didn't read it, too?
No. He just read the paper. He was just sitting there with Gilbert to just be there with him, but he didn't bother talking to him. And I was sitting there, and I went, you know what? I'm not going to bother talking either. So we all just sat there. Maybe I had some conversation with Gilbert, but it was the funniest thing. And then when the Bells was done reading the paper, he got up and left. He basically, you know, wished Gilbert well and said he'd be back. Yeah. It was the greatest thing I ever saw in my life. And the other big story I remember with the Bells had a TV show on cable where he interviewed people. He had on Mr. T and Hulk Hogan. And the Bells goes to those guys. He goes to Hulk Hogan, not Mr. T. He says, hey, can you show me a wrestling move? But Hulk Hogan, for some reason, put him in a sleeper hold, which actually kind of knocks you out, and then dropped him on his head. And the Bells was in bad fucking shape. And he actually ended up suing Hulk Hogan and got about, I think he sued him for $5 million, ended up getting something like $400,000. Belzer took the $400,000, bought himself a place in France.
I said, let's do a demonstration. And he put me in what they call a choke, a chin lock, sleeper hold, which if you look up in the dictionary, it says kill the Jew hold. See also?
Specifically designed for Jews.
Yeah. And so what it does is they cut off your carotid artery and your brain, you become unconscious, and then he let me fall to the ground. I fell to the ground. Oh, my God. 9 stitches, split my head open, blood gushing out.
Oh, he was unconscious on TV. Although he managed to get up and say, we'll be right back.
I know, which my doctor said you were in shock. I don't know how you did that.
Yeah.
2016, the Bells retired from acting and lived with his gorgeous wife, Harley, in France.
Yes.
Beautiful wife. And here's a crazy thing. Bells' friend Bill Sheft, a former Late Show with David Letterman writer, told The Hollywood Reporter that before his death, Bells had lots of health issues. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And his last words were, fuck you, motherfucker. And then he died.
To who? I was like, is he saying that to Bill? Who's he saying that to?
But Bill, man, I mean, I don't know. That's fine. I think he was trying to be funny right up until the end.